Hey there, and welcome back to the OBM Show, where we spotlight online business managers who are stepping into leadership, creating freedom, and driving real results behind the scenes of 6 and 7 figure businesses. Now, today's guest is someone who is deeply rooted in intention, purpose, and creativity, as well as being a really vital part of our internal team here at OBM School. So she's one of our OBMs. Her name is Desiree Silveira, and she is the founder of Desiree Silveira Designs. And again, a very valued team member here at OBM School. Now, she goes by Des over in our business, and her journey into the OBM world is such a beautiful example of clarity and courage. She is based in India. She's a vegan, she's a Christian, a devoted mom, and a powerhouse OBM who has really built her business that reflects her values, her lifestyle, and her love for creative digital agencies. Now, she started off like so many of us, kind of scattered, doing all the things like project management, copywriting, design. But it wasn't really until she joined our accelerator and eventually went on to become an accredited OBM that the pieces really started to click into place. And she went from juggling 6 clients at once to choosing just 3 aligned retainers, doubling her revenue, and finally creating a sustainable business that honors both her talents and her time. In this episode, Des and I talk about what it really means to step into a strategic partner role, the mindset shift required to work with premium clients across borders, and why learning to say no might just be the key to long-term growth. Now let's dive in. Hey, Des, welcome to the show. I've been wanting to interview you for some time now, so I'm glad you're here.
I'm so excited to be here, Sarah. I think we have lots of lovely things to discuss and share today.
Yeah, I really feel it like that too. Now, you've been on our team now for, I believe, a little over a year.
Yeah.
It has really felt like forever. And, I think the wonderful thing for me, and one of the things I really want to focus on in today's podcast/vlog, is how you've really grown into quite a strategic leadership role. I mean, you do a lot of things in our business internally inside of OBM School, but one of the things that you do a really great job of is managing all of our launches. So, and as well as other various promotional activities, because digital marketing, obviously is definitely, you're very multifaceted. Like you're great at design, but you're also great at sort of just the project management and getting all of the nuts and bolts into pieces. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the journey's been like for you so far?
I have had a journey that has been really long, and there has been a long learning curve as well. So I have been in the online space for quite a while, but when I did complete the accreditation, for me, what happened was it gave me this boost of confidence that opened up so many other avenues. Like you said, I have my mind working all the time with different things. Like I know, like I'm great with project management. I'm good with design. So when you know the tools, when you know what's involved with setting up a business, the possibilities are limitless. So for me, it enabled me so much. So when I do step on a call with a client, or even when we do our strategic sessions with clients, for me, I'm able to cover such a huge bandwidth of areas and functions within the business, like staying on top of the business, like the big view, like the eagle view of things. But at the same time, my brain also starts looking at the micro bits as well, like the tiny things that need to also take place. So I think that's what has been really a game changer for me, is stepping into that role of a partner. So I
Yeah.
knew exactly to do it when I had the tools to set me up into it. It also did take some sort of mindset work as well, and that I got through from the program, working with the community, also observing so much, like working so close with the mentors. So every aspect of the accreditation was a learning experience, like even just going through the flow of the emails that come to you, the language that is used on the hot seat coaching, and that's everything tells me that this is OBM level. So it was absolutely a living experience throughout, like taking me from where I was into the place that I'm now.
Yeah, I love that. And you are such a valued team member, as you know, inside of our business. And I want to really dive more into this mindset shift because I feel like a lot of our listeners, a lot of the people watching here are really primed strategic leaders. Like I do believe that things can be taught, but I also believe that, we naturally have a little bit of this sort of nugging or nudging at us. And you are no exception. Like, I really believe, Des, that you are such a, like, almost the perfect OBM personality, if I may, because you are so multifaceted, but you are also a great listener. You are a great, person to brainstorm with, and you're very honest about your ideas, and you are actually very critical in your thinking. Can you speak more to the shift so that people who are listening or watching us on YouTube right now can really kind of latch onto what that really means? Because it's so sort of vague. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are like, well, yeah, I kind of have that, but I'm not so sure. Like, when did you know I can do this? This is me.
So what happened is during the accelerator, I was putting together the pieces. I took it really seriously, the accelerator. I was very sure that after the accelerator, I'm going to step into this OBM strategic role. I'm going to I'm going to start working with these high ticket clients and all of that. So for me, it was bringing in the intention of I was very clear in my head that this is what I want to achieve. It was just not another course that I was doing. I was so clear because I have the experience. I know what it means to work with a team member. I know what it means to run large scale projects. I know what it means to look at different pieces of digital marketing as well. And I know that I can be successful. Like, you have this natural and innate nature of problem solving as well. So I know that in any situation where there is a problem, I am so sure I can figure it out. But I was still not confident. I was still not confident to still do it even after accelerator. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to work with this high ticket client. And what am I going to do in there? Like, I have zero visibility of what exactly is their problem. What exactly does an OBM do inside a 6 to 7 figure business? Whereas I have worked with clients on really tiny projects like building a website or writing their copy. It's nothing, there's zero visibility of the back end action, which I didn't know how
I
to
feel
place
you.
myself. So
Hmm.
there is where I was stuck. I was stuck. And I knew the accreditation had those projects. And I told myself that's all I need access to. I need access to those projects because I will clearly know how to position myself. I think that's also where I was struggling. How do I position myself? How do I package my services so that it talks to the problem and me as the solution provider? And that only happened with the projects.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I completed my project, Sarah, I was so fired up. I immediately, I had all the pieces. All I had to do is I was in a Facebook group where I was engaging, just solving small little problems here and there. And I was so confident after the third project, I put a post in that group about me and my services, and I got a call booked.
I'm not
And I
surprised.
still work with that client till
Hmm.
today.
Hmm.
She's from the digital agency space, and it's almost 2 years now. And she was
Wow.
my first client. So, and I didn't even finish the course. It was 3 months done. The projects get over after
3 months.
3 months,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
yeah, so after 3 months, I had the first client in, and she paid
Yeah.
everything, new rates, everything.
Yeah.
So, that was, and when she did book it, that again established so much for me that, I took the right decision of being part of this accreditation. This is exactly what I needed. And then it was no stopping. I could open this tap anytime. Like, I knew then how to open this tap if I wanted a new client.
Yeah. 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 Because you
Yeah,
were confident
that
about
was
it.
powerful. Very confident.
That makes my heart sing because I mean, obviously I want the best for you, but I do believe as is part of our OBM School manifesto, that confidence does really come from doing things. And
Yeah.
it's remarkable and not remarkable to me that you were able to land a client 3 months into our accreditation, which is a 6-month program. Because as we go through the first 3 months, that's where that whole transformation happens around the simulated client experience.
Yeah.
We have our client, there are projects, but I think more than that, because, obviously projects, boomity boom, boom, boom. It's more than that. It's about actually simulating what it's like when you have some of the signature frameworks in place, like a breakthrough strategy session. You're starting off by creating a solid 90-day plan and what that looks like. And as you kind of move on to working with the client for 60 days, working with a client for 90 days, working with a client onwards and past that. Because much like corporate life, which I know some of us have experienced, some of us haven't, or any job for that matter, there is a learning curve. Des is one of our very valued team members. We have quite a small team inside of OBM School. And I feel like I have bared witness, I can't talk today, to what it has meant to really see you step into such a strategic role in our team, literally taking the reins on our launch strategy, on our metrics, on our pivots, and even in the last, I would say, few months, coming up with a new way of how, we run, for those of you who listen, we run OBM Week quite often. And Des came up with such an incredible VIP lounge offer that really has kind of given our OBM weeks, for me and for the team, because we do this for ourselves as well, like a breath of new light, something to get excited about. A smaller container of really, really eager students who are very, very dead set on building OBM businesses. So that's been able to just bring in this new ray of light. And I don't take that for granted as an OBM myself. I know how it's hard to, kind of pull the rabbit from your hat in a way that is like taken well from your client. So I just feel like you have gone from just being a valued member of our team to being somebody who is strategically driving the force around a lot of our digital marketing strategies. So I think that the point I'm trying to make here is like how it evolves, how you evolve on someone's team, because I think people think that they decide they want to be an OBM and then they step into someone's business guns a-blazing, and you start making these pivotal changes right away. But good things take time and relationships bloom over time.
Yeah, I think it's important to always see what that big picture is. So I've always stayed in the big picture thinking, hey, we're going to be doing this a number of times, but then is there a way that, hey, can we do this in a way that focuses our attention? Can we prioritize something within this? Because I really see so much of value even in other clients' businesses that they offer. But then how can we optimize? Like I'm always thinking and it can only come in when you are in the business for a while. Like you see what's working, you see what's what's picking up as well, because not everything will have this linear growth, like everything looks great, like it has this up and down sort of curve as well. So you have to also understand where's like
The
why
entrepreneurial
do things
struggle,
go
yes.
down? Like why does it, and then yeah, like you said, it does take time. You have to be really paying attention to what the pulse is of the business, and that takes time. So
Yeah.
yes, it's a growth. It's not every day is not it is a brand new day. Like, we'll have these set tasks but those set tasks keep evolving and that leads to new things. So
And
yeah,
it keeps it exciting for me.
exciting.
Like otherwise it's like things get boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are quite a big picture person. And I think it's important to note that, you don't just kind of absorb the big picture over time. There are all these nuances and the company culture and the team. But I just feel like you fit in so perfectly like to our team. And again, I know that I talk about this and I sometimes harp on it. I know I have on the podcast a lot when I'm talking about how your why is so important, not just as a driving force to keep you focused, but also as a driving force to keep you resonating with the clients that you're attracting. And I think when you can really own, and you've done that wonderfully, is like, owning just being a mom. And, that's like same with Tovi and I and everybody else on our team. Actually, not everybody has children, but all of the mummies on our team were like, we're here because we're mummies. And, our
Yes.
children come first. And I think it's so important to find clients that really resonate with you. And I think we are a perfect match. But I'm very biased. So I would love to hear you maybe speak about what a day looks like in your life with working with
Yes.
OBM School, but also like working with, some of the digital marketing agencies. Because that, by the way, were always the favorite clients of mine because their heads are like spinning and the money's pouring in. So speak a little bit to what it's like working with your current clients and what a day when Mummy Des wakes up, and takes care of all the things
Yes.
happening in her life.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you said, Sarah, the mommy role is absolutely on the forefront. So, for me, early in the morning, my daughter is off to school. So, I have all that time in the morning to get her going,
God
spending
for
that time
us.
with her. And then when she's off the door, that's when it's my focus time. I'll talk about my week. So every beginning of the week, this could be on a Sunday evening, or this could be like even Monday. Like if I didn't get my slot on Sunday, I would look at what's ahead in the week for me. I don't go too far because then my brain explodes.
Clothes.
So I just do like in terms of tasks, like my planning, like what I need to plan for my business or for my clients. Of course, I have, some other tasks around those. But if I'm looking at what my day, like looking at the week ahead, I just look at what are the priorities. I'm always focused on the priorities because there are a lot of things to do. So not everything gets done. And when it doesn't get done, I can at least say that I focused on the priorities, and the other things can move to the next week. So the first thing is I look at what are the priorities. I get on a call with Tovi. We are only discussing priorities. Like what am I focusing on this week? We catch up on what we did last week, and then we know what we're doing for till the next meeting. So I do the same thing with the other clients as well. Only priorities. And then I question it as well. But I only have, some time here. Like I also look at the hours because I want them to also be mindful that these are the number of hours I have. And the best use of my hours is to focus on this particular area only because that's money. Like, I always look at the money, the revenue generating tasks.
Right.
Because the other things can happen eventually with a team member. You can delegate it. Even my other clients have teams, and we can always put the tasks to them, but we need to get the big ticket things going. So my day is like, so I have my meetings only on Tuesdays and Thursdays with
Mhm.
clients, and my deep brain work is on Monday and Wednesday. I try to keep those 2 days away from the meetings because meetings really sap my energy.
Thank
And the
you.
thing
They're
is, I'm not a meetings person.
exhausting.
I am not
Oh, with you. I do Mondays and Tuesdays are my meeting days because yeah.
it's a lot of energy, and it also requires some planning. And what happens as well is after the meeting is done, I immediately start those tasks as well because you remember the urgency, what's the priority from that as well, and I get something going as well. So those client meetings are, those days are pretty intense. I use Monday and Wednesday for other brain work, and then Friday is in the business. So for me, while I'm already fully rostered right now, for me in the businesses, and this is what has worked for me, is being in Facebook groups.
Mm.
What has happened is I have become familiar with people in that group. This is where the moms are, the Christians are. I'm a Catholic, so the Catholic moms are in this group. So that already kind of I think that's very important, is working with people who align with your values,
Okay.
because the moment you have these values aligned, that common denominator is taken care of. They don't have to worry. This is what I realized. That's where the barriers go. It's not about me being in India and you're in the US. I have now worked with clients who are in Australia
Mhm.
and in the US, in the UK, and it's all because we have this common denominator. And that takes away any sort of, the trust issues or whatever. So I'm
100%.
in that group. So it can be one or two comments, something. I show up in that group, even though I'm not actively looking at clients. I just like something, just so that I have some sort of visibility somewhere, because I'm not active on social media. I'm not doing all of that right now. But the moment I open the tap in that group, I know I can get a client. Like,
Yeah.
I can just ask. I have already past clients in there. They recommend me as well. I just tell them, hey, I want to do a little light project, and can you recommend me? And they do it instantly in there. So
Yeah. I'm
it's
not
just
surprised.
works so well. I am
Yeah.
so happy with that group. And what it does then for me, it gives me an opportunity also now to look further. So I have time also in my business now. Hey, now you are doing this 3 clients. Like, what's next as well for me in my business?
Right.
Is a team. So now I'm kind of working that plan out. Like, do I get team in? How will that look
Ooh.
like? All of that. So, scaling is in the picture, but I'm doing it at my pace. There's no rush. There's no
Right.
timeline for any of this
Right.
stuff. And that's fantastic, because I'm already achieving the numbers that I want right now
Right.
for me. My family is, I have my family time. I'm able to do the things for my family, which I was like, it's amazing, like what you can do now, the benefits of living this kind of lifestyle. So I'm always grateful that I had this journey, even though sometimes you may feel like it's so hard, but
So hard. Thank
on the
you. Yeah, we're not here to
other
sugarcoat
side,
things. It is difficult at the
yes,
beginning. That's why you have to have a strong
yes,
why that can keep you focused on making it a reality. And I think it's
yeah,
so, so important to be able to then look back and say, wow, look at how much time I have now with my family. I have some semblance of balance in my life. I'm getting to choose who I want to work
yeah,
with. And obviously, this wasn't an overnight
yes.
thing. Like, how many years have you been in the business, Des? Like, how many years have you been doing this?
So
Since,
I was in corporate HR, and I did the transition to this whole digital, profile and career in 2019.
right,
So in 2019, that's when I got into web design, into copywriting, but really into this OBM role happened in like post-COVID.
right.
That's everything started to take shape. And I think it
Yeah,
was a good progression for me as well, because that's where I'm familiar with all the different areas. But then I also realized that you can be a specialist as well. Like, if your zone of genius is just systems and tech, I have a client that I'm only doing that for them.
yeah.
So just kind of putting those pieces together. I had another client who only wanted the launch plan. Like, what does that look like? So I could draw out the whole launch plan, draw out what exactly she had to build in terms of her content and all of that, some timelines, all of that I could do for her, because
Yeah,
you can't just look at that one area, and clients only want sometimes just that one solution, and you can provide that as well. You don't need to have all the experiences and know everything. No, it's not required at all. And you learn with the clients. Like,
yes,
we're
you do.
always
Learn as
learning.
you
So
learn. Yeah.
absolutely. And I will always also be transparent with the client and say, this is something that I am doing for the first time, but I have the idea in terms of, I mean, I do understand what you are, the goal is. I can get to, I can see the pieces of it, but it may need more time. Just this
Mhm.
conversation is very essential, because then we find the right resources, we pull in maybe somebody else to support you.
Mhm.
And as an OBM, sometimes we think we need to know it all.
Yeah,
And I think
which is
that's
not
also
the
what
case.
scares
Yeah.
people off. And sometimes you can just find somebody who's like a VA tech, or somebody who specializes, who can step in, and so you don't have to sweat it out. at all. Like,
Yeah, I
abs-
think I really appreciate you sharing that because I think it's so hard for beginner OBMs to imagine themselves working with clients for that
yes,
very reason. And always in OBM school, one of the things that comes up for everybody is like services and packages. And
yes,
I'm like, you can have all the sexiest
yes,
packages, button really messaging on the, on point. But the truth is that there are two issues. One is that the client doesn't necessarily know what they need.
yeah,
Okay. That's why we have a very specific onboarding process to really kind of understand that and to kind of make the most out of those first 90 days. And then the other piece is that every business is as unique as the business owner themselves, so you've worked with lots of digital marketing agencies, and arguably not all of them need the same set of services. And it really stems from the strengths of the business owner, the strengths of
yes,
the other team members, and as critical
absolutely.
thinkers. And that's why, you and I would both argue that soft skills are so important because you need to be a good listener. You need to recognize what they need. And then you need to get creative around solutions because, for better or worse, this is such a
Yes,
fast-paced digital world. And, you're not going to know the latest and greatest service as a software, SaaS software on the market. You're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to call in the reins. And I think, you mentioned this earlier in our interview today about the accreditation, and not to kind of do, shameless pitch, shameless sort of drops here, but being in a container with other like-minded individuals and having that as a resource, I think the community is one of the most important confidence boosters around.
absolutely. The
Yeah.
community is really helpful. Like I have some besties already when I was on
Yes.
accreditation. It's so nice to just call up somebody and just bounce ideas off and they get
Mhm.
you. I was so happy when I had another girl who was from India as well, and it
Yeah, yeah,
was fantastic. We're so, we're good friends and
yeah, yeah,
fantastic, really great. I love the community of OBM school and even the mentors, such lovely,
yeah.
lovely people.
Other humans.
Absolutely happy to share it all. So that was
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
It's so important. It's like you share in the wins, but also in the struggles, If you're having like a situation with a client that, or a difficult conversation that you're having to navigate, there's nothing better than having, other like-minded individuals to lean on. So, from community to just embracing like what you said it so well was just, like I'm not the best at everything, but I'm resourceful in that
Correct.
I can, find the right resource, find the right team member, find the right tech, have an open, honest conversation. Because I think that's the other thing that I always want to point out here is that, in earlier on in my OBM life, I used to put my clients on a pedestal, and I sometimes still do. And I think, oh, well,
Yeah.
they have this business, they're so successful, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is they're also navigating the complexities of this field that is ever evolving, with the tech, with the team, with the all the things. So it's about partnering with your client and being able to have open, honest, brainstorming conversations so that you can be resourceful together and come up with the best plan that is going to make the most sense for that unique business. And it's something that, like, that's the work, that's the work, is figuring out what kind of services does this business need? What's in the best interest of
Yes.
this business? What's in the best interest of the team? Because we've got a VA that's techie, but doesn't know Active Campaign, for example. And that's something
Yes.
we want to start using. So I think it's so important I think one of my like life strengths is that I'm a resourceful human being, put me anywhere in the world and I'll survive kind of thing. And it's been such a blessing as an OBM because that too really requires me to be my resourceful self. And it is, more than having an MBA, more than selling my landscaping company, more than I think so many of these, notches on my belt that I could really talk about is the fact that I've always just been a resourceful person who knows that, where there's a will, there's a way. And it's so true. And I think it's such a powerful thing as an OBM. Like, I'm in Israel, you're in India. We work with clients all over the world. I've always been in OBM working in the Middle East. And, also for me, like, I think it was the same sentiment, when you realize, oh my God, I can work with Australians and not just North
Yes,
Americans. Oh my God, it's just about, having these very, very similar whys, and it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what time zone you're in. You can really have a global business, Des, and you have, much like myself, really exemplified that. So I just want to really point out here to our listeners, to people watching this today, that it really doesn't matter where you are geographically, your socioeconomic status is. It's really about taking a step forward and putting your stake in the ground and deciding that this is something that you are willing to pursue come hell or high water.
absolutely.
I knew for me, I had no other options. Like, I don't know what it was like with a baby being in HR. I don't know if you left HR before.
Yes, of the baby. Yes,
Yeah,
my daughter was just 1.5, 2 years,
right.
and I had to travel to work, come back, and then be a mom. It was
Exhausting.
exhausting, and then there was just no joy. No joy. Even in that role, I was already working with the CEO. I was already in the big picture of things, but there was no joy because of the other areas of my life. So this brought absolutely all the balances that I needed.
Yeah.
This is really God sent.
Yeah,
This,
I feel that way too about it. I really do. I mean, I don't mean to get cheesy, but I think that, for a lot of us who, like myself, we're sitting Googling, or now on ChatGPT, now on AI, how do I legitimately
yes.
make money working from
Yeah.
home? This is such a viable, concrete way of using a lot of our corporate skills. Like you mentioned, I was the right hand to the CEO. I was already had HR experience. Like, all
Yes.
these little, right? Like these little that you
Yes.
think have it's like this whole celestial ecosystem that kind of comes together. And you're like, oh, that's why I needed to suffer in HR. Oh, that's why I needed to suffer as the CEO's right hand. So that I
Yeah.
can, like, gather all of those skills and go forth as a
Yes.
successful online business manager on my own terms. And I know you guys travel a lot. I know you're always
Yeah.
doing fun things, like having a different life for yourself and being really sort of the alchemist behind how and where things go. And I know because, as our daughters get older, how much more we need to be around for them. So I think
Yes.
that's such a blessing. And I think, I really think it's so important to be able to show others that there is another way.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no excuse. There's
What would
just,
you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to just hold your peace and be patient because this is all going to make sense at some point. Just be peaceful. Just, all those great clients are waiting there for you. I would just tell
Amen.
myself to just do it with joy, right?
Do it with
So
joy.
yeah.
True. So much
Uh,
easier said
yeah.
than done.
Yes. But now I feel like I'm in such a place because you need some maturity as well in this role. You can't be panicking when things go awry. And that tends to happen as well when, you are in the back picture working with different businesses. But then the experience is again what you rely on, like all those past experiences of how you've managed the stress there. It's no different now. Like I said, it's always this transparency, but always also keeping the communication lines. That's something I
Yeah,
completely.
yeah, I think that's
That's why
definitely a
you
big
said I say
strength.
things, I just share it because, I want to make sure that we're always, on the right plane. We are.
It is the best thing ever. I think there's nothing, I mean, we always say, and this is, obviously not a reflection on either of us, but, there's no such thing as, and I hate this expression, as stupid questions, but
Yeah.
sometimes in the most dumb question or the state of confusion, you realize that you overlooked a landing page that you were supposed to
Yes.
build, or oh my God, this automation actually isn't going to work because of this one sort of oversight. And
Yes.
so I think that
Yeah.
communication is something, thank you for
Yes.
bringing that
Yes.
up. Definitely.
And that's why that project management tool is gold.
Yeah.
You cannot hold everything in our brains and and the project management tool is the truth, is the source of truth of what's happening in there. So if it's not in the tool, it's not gonna happen. It's not going to be
Oh,
in the
yeah.
conversations, nothing. So
Out
what
of
I've
mind, out of sight, out of heart kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. This is just how I manage. I don't have everything up in my head. I don't have this big book of notes. It's all my tasks.
You
And
have
then
all, you mean you don't have all these
focus on my tasks.
you don't have all these scattered to-do notes on your desk?
Always I go into, I have like a notepad and I just quickly put it in there. And then I
Oh, you
have,
mean like this
because
that's
it's
notepad
right
that I
there.
also have on my desk? That's like like can't even read it? Yes.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So I love Canva for that, throwing in all these ideas in there. And then I make sure it's quickly in the tool. So then in my project management tool as well. So that,
Yeah.
it gets going. It should get going.
Amen. Amen. Honestly, Des, it is like having you on our team is amazing. So
I'm so
for
glad.
anybody who wants a piece of Des or needs an incredible online business manager, if you are running a digital marketing agency, again, aligned values, all that good stuff, Des, where can we find you online?
Yes, you can find me on my website. I have this contact page where you can get in touch with me. My website is desireesilveira.com. That's
Awesome. Well, Des, you know that we love working with you, that you are such an integral part of our team here. So it's just a pleasure for me to interview you. I know that you are, a great resource if anyone has questions about OBM school or becoming an OBM. I know that you're always like an honest, open resource. So thank you for always being available and just being such an incredible part of OBM school.
It's my pleasure, Sarah. You're a joy to work with as well.
What a joy it was to talk with Des, someone who's not only building an intentional OBM business, but also leading by example for others navigating freelancing from across the globe. Des's story is a powerful reminder that you don't need to do everything to build a business that's both profitable and peaceful. You just need the right foundation, the right community, and the confidence to take your seat at the table. If her journey resonated with you and you're ready to go from doing all the things to owning your OBM expertise, I want to personally invite you to check out OBM School over at obmschool.com. Whether you are at the start or ready to scale, we can help you really build a business that works for your life and not the other way around. I also invite you to check out our starter kit over at obmschool.com/starter. If you are just getting started with your OBM business, or if you're making a transition from another role, if you love this episode, share it with a fellow service provider or another OBM who needs to hear this. And until next time, keep leading, keep evolving, and keep showing up like the strategic pro you are.